Well, just like with everything else, right? We are after of the habitants of the home, of the spaces. That's what it's all about. And I know in my son's cliche that we keep talking about this and keep emphasizing the point, but this is really the essence of what we do, is really capturing who our clients are, what they do, how they live, how they function in a space. Dogs, cats, family, whether you do your exercises or roll out the yoga mat in the middle of the dining room or family room, whatever the case may be. There's no such thing as like weird, the way I see it, because we are all individual, independent human beings, and that's what is so important to understand when you're designing or redesigning a layout, right? It could be a living space, it could be a kitchen, it could be a bathroom, could be a primary suite, could be any other part of the home, could be a library, could be a pantry, could be a working pantry. It's really, it's capturing who you are, how you function. And also understanding the flow of the home, right? It could be staircases, access points. Are we relocating those access points, or they are set? Do you have to deal with pre-existing conditions, right, that cannot be altered or not easily alterable? When we have the liberty to move things around a little bit better, obviously sometimes aids to a better, more functional, more thought through space in that regard. And it could be like very tiny or subtle things that once one is done, which is, we see this all the time, when it's done correctly, when everything just lines up just right, when everything is in the right place, nobody questions it, it feels so great. You just go flip a switch and it's like you expect it to be there because you are right-handed, and that's supposed to be right there to reach it. Talking about light switches, it's an interesting thing that a lot of people that we see, they don't even think about this, right? You just wake up and you go with emotions. We are all pre-programmed, and we ask these questions often, like, what side of the bed you wake up on, right? Because that creates a pattern, right? And the same thing when you are in a living room, when you are in a kitchen, whatever space you are working on. When you're letting the dog out, for example, right? How you want that function? Where do you want a light installed? How is that pattern gonna dictate, perhaps the furniture to some degree, right? So there's a lot of those things that come into play. It's again, it's not a straightforward answer, because I think it should be individualized. There are design rules, if you wish, and there are certain spaces need certain type of furnishings to some degree, but it's not a set rule, in my opinion, and at least from what we are seeing with our clients. That actually brings up an interesting point or a thought about kitchen layouts and the famed or maybe infamous kitchen triangle, and there's nothing wrong with a kitchen triangle. Actually, it's been used for decades and it served its purpose for so many years. I think there's more to it than just the triangle, and especially what we are seeing with the evolutions of the kitchens today. And again, a triangle or triangle kitchen, typically what referred to is fridge, cooking, sink. It's a triangle. There's nothing wrong with it because it's basic functionality. You need that, right? It makes things very user-friendly. But again, when we go back to our clients' lifestyle, and then the triangle often expands, or it could be multiple triangles in the kitchen. You have to also consider, what if you have a scullery attached to the kitchen, right? The triangle changes different. We no longer just have like one fridge, one stove, one sink. We have multiple sinks, we have multiple fridges, we have refrigerators, we have different cooking areas. There's so much more to it than just a triangle. Again, it goes back to like, how do you function in that space? Where do you want to locate things that is more ergonomic? For example, you may have munchkins running around, and you don't want them to open the big fridge door, and you're probably just gonna have under counter refrigerator. It could be drawers, could be a nice glass front fridge that shows the water bottles, for example, or whatever, you know, juices they may like. Some people like, again, the drawer microwaves or even warming drawers, that they are a lot easier to access for kids. So there's a lot more to it. Remember this, it's not just about who's cooking in a kitchen, but who's living in a home. Talking about cooking, it's another interesting thing that is, I think, very important to capture early on in the design phase, is understand like who is cooking or who are cooking. It could be 2-3 different people at the same time or separately who may have different needs. Consider also, like, what if you have a left-handed and a right-handed chef in a kitchen, right? How do you design things around it? Like, you have to basically combine to make sure that you get both of their inputs and cater to all of those needs.